and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all well. I've been a bit off grid. I'm really sorry about that. I've just been a bit busy, a bit tired. So yeah, I'm here to see if we can complete part 3, hopefully the final part, not sure, of the colour on we have been doing in Rita Berman's Meine Reise Durch Asien. And we're just going to crack on. So it's going to be a bit of a colour and chat. So yeah, so I hope that everybody is well. I've been, as I think if you watched some of my previous videos, I've been fighting off, I think that's why I've not been filming, I've been fighting off a little cold. Oh, that's completely eaten my pencil. See if that will sharpen. I don't know what happened then. It's not got caught in the thingy. Yeah. I shouldn't have sharpened that on my page. Note to self, people, don't sharpen stuff on a page. Right, so what I'm going to do, these all look like berries to me, so I'm going to kind of do them. This beautiful, so I'm using Arteza Expert pencils. And I've kind of got a limited colour palette, kind of using primary colours, like red, orange, yellow, green, and variations upon these. So we used the rose red and the wine red on these red things that look a little bit like hearts, but they're not. So I'm just going to mix that up a little bit and use them on these, which for me look a little bit like berries. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So yeah, hope everyone's well. I think I've said that for the 3rd time now. I've been fighting off a little cold, but apart from that, everything's good. The weather here in the UK has been shockingly bad. Considering that we're in August and this is meant to be the hottest time of the year. It's been like 18, 90 degrees, lots and lots of rain. So it's not been the kind of weather whether you want to go out and have a picnic, which is what we like to do and enjoy the countryside. But we did get out the weekend. I went to Emmett's Gardens, which is a National Trust property. And it's really beautiful this time of year, and we had fun. And me and my daughter have started geocaching. And for those who don't know what that is, it's got an app, and you join the community, which is what I've done, and then you basically open the map and look for geocaches. And basically, you find these geocaches which have been hidden by people across the country. And you click on the geocache, it tells you how big it is, what kind of terrain it's in, and then when you're near it, it bleeps, so you know kind of that you're near the geocache. Some of them are tiny, like tubes, some of them are in big Tupperware boxes, and then you find the geocache, you log that you found it on the app, and you also write your name in like a little log that's inside the geocache. Some of them we've only found 2. One is like, the one we found was like, had a little notepad in there, so you just write your name and the date you found it. And then the other one we found, the log was completely saturated, so we couldn't write our names in that one. But we logged it on the app that we found it in the date. So we found one in Trosley Park, and then the other one we found at Emmett's Gardens. And it's just a really good way of kind of being outside in nature, finding lots of walks, going on adventures, finding these geocaches and being part of another community. So that's been quite a nice thing. It is free, but only for the like basic version of it, which is always the way, isn't it, with these things. So you can get more advanced geocaches if you pay either £30 for the year or £5.99 a month. I think it's cheaper to pay it for the year by the sounds of it. But I'm not going to do that yet until I know that we're enjoying it, or that we're going to, you know, that we need to do the paid version, really. So I just coloured all that in with wine red, and now I'm going over it with rose red, which is the colours again that we used on here, but it's kind of in reverse. Last time I did rose red first with wine red, just doing the shading. So that's what I'm doing this time round. And I will probably blend this with a white pen, because this is the white of the paper is still showing through. So yeah, so we've done a bit of geocaching. Last Friday we took my daughter to have her ears pierced. So she's 9. She was a very brave old soul. I did wonder whether she was going to go through with it, because she's not very good with pain. She's got quite a low pain threshold. Mind you, so have I think. So yeah, so she got them done. She had a bit of a cry, but she was nervous, as you'd expect. You know, you've not had something done before, you don't know what to expect. So she should have a bit of a cry after the first one. I thought, oh gosh, is she going to get the second one done? But she did. And so she's got them done. And so this week we've been in the keeping them clean, and cleaning them every day, and turning them every day to make sure she doesn't get any nasty things. So that's been so that was good. Kind of like I think the person who pierced them for her was quite emotional. She was like, oh, I was like, yeah, it's a rite of passage, isn't it, getting your ears pierced? And she was quite emotional because she could see the image of what. So yeah, that was like a milestone last week. Yes, I'm now just blending it together with white, just to blend the colours a little bit better. These pencils are really beautiful, especially on this paper. They work so well. I'm a bit heavy-handed, I think, on this paper. I think that's why I don't like Shock Horror Prismacolor pencils, because they just go. As you can see, I did quite a lot of sharpening. I like my pencils to be quite sharp, and Prismas just go blunt very quickly for me, and then I can't control them, and they smudge outside the lines and blah blah blah. So I prefer these. They hold the point a little bit better. Right then, so now I think I'm going to do this yellow, which I think was a honey yellow that I used, and if it wasn't, well, toughy wuffy. Yellow, that's yellow ochre. That's honey yellow, is it? No, that's turmeric. I can't find honey. Is this one? That's honey. Okay, yeah. This is going to be like a goldy colour, I think. Don't know, I might add some green in it now I've started. So what was I saying? Yeah, ears pierced. So that was last week. I had a 4-day weekend at the weekend, so that was quite nice. That's where we were able to get out and do a few things. Haven't got a 4-day weekend this weekend, just a normal 2-day. So we're gonna have that. That'd be nice. Haven't really got many plans. That's fine. I quite like sometimes having a nice quiet weekend. So yeah, that's kind of this weekend. And then next weekend it's quite big because it's my 13th wedding anniversary and my husband's birthday. So we've got plans to meet up with some friends on our wedding anniversary. And then we're probably going to be near some water, whether that means going on a boat trip or being by the sea. We haven't quite determined yet. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to make this look a little bit golden. I can't remember what colour I used on that. So I think I'm going to just do that and then probably use cinnamon, which is one of my favourites, just to go in and do a little bit of, give a little bit of depth. So that was honey, and this is cinnamon. Cinnamon's one of my favourite colours, hence the reason why the pencil's a little bit small. Honey's quite small as well, because again it's one of my favourites. So yeah, that's next weekend, and then the summer holidays are nearly over, you know. It seems such a 6 weeks of summer holidays for children seems like such a long time when they finish. I mean, Imogen didn't finish until something like the 25th of July, so it's quite late compared to a lot of people. But it always seems as though that, that sprawling holiday stretching out, it seems like such a lot of time to fill. But I think we're going to be all right. She went to the cinema yesterday to see Elemental. I haven't seen the Barbie movie yet. I've heard that it's good. It's got a good message, is what I've heard. So yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to go back over that with the honey. Give it a little bit more colour. So I've been doing a few buddy colours this month. I've done, what have I done? Can't remember. I'm just currently finishing one off now in Rita Berman's Waterbook. Then I've got a buddy colour to do with Pixie's projects in Cat 22, which is a book with a little story about each cat. And then it's very similar to Matchstick Mouse, isn't it? In that they all tend to be like little circle vignettes, which is quite pretty. And I like using alcohol markers in there. So that's that part done. Then I think this bit up here has got a little like heart behind it. So I think I'm just going to do that. Fill that in red. Oh, looks a bit weird. Might just do it dark on the edges and go light in like that. And then I've got to decide whether I want to fill this bit in the middle, which I think I do, but I might do it metallic. I haven't quite decided yet. Oh, but I've got to decide soon, I suppose. But I wouldn't know what colour. Maybe a bluey metallic would be quite nice. Don't know. Yeah, that would be quite nice, because then it would go with the blue of the Russian doll. See my process, can't you, when I'm doing a video like this? There we go. Right, then I think around these little beady bits around the outside are going to be metallic. And then I think what I'm going to do around this bit is, I think I'm going to do some distress ink. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that now. I'll be back in a minute. Hi everybody. I'm just going to zoom you out a bit so you can see what I'm going to do with this. Okay, so I've got my distress oxides. We've got scattered straw, vintage photo, and tattered rose. I don't know if I'm going to use this one, but we're just going to get going. And I use these, like, you can buy them in packs of 10 makeup brushes. They're really, really soft and they pick up the ink really, really well. And then I've got some spare paper next to me, because what I do is I rub my brush over the ink and then I blot off first before I add to my page, because I don't want too much. And then I've got some white paper underneath, and I'm just going to start kind of off and bring it on. As you can see, it's quite pigmented, so I don't want it to be too much. It's already quite a yellow. So yeah, it's very, very soft, kind of circular motions is the way I do it. And I went with this rather than the silky crayons, because I'm probably going to do a distress. I'm going to splash it with water to give it like a vintagey look is what I think I'm going to go for. But that might be towards the end, because I've still got a bit of detail to do yet in the doll. So I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have waited to do this till the end, but I haven't. So it's the order I decided to do it in. So I really like this colour. It's a really warm yellow, not too lemony, just a really, really lovely warm yellow. And I've kind of worked it from the edges inwards. And that works quite well for me. Right, I'm just going to switch sizes of brush so I can get a bit closer into the image. And that's where I put a bit too much ink in there. You can see it kind of quite concentrated on the page. I didn't want that really, but that's fine. So I might add glitter yet. I haven't decided, and if I'm going to be distressing it anyway, it's not a major problem. So I don't want to get right up close. The problem when you put your fingers on it is it does leave finger marks. Right, so that's the scattered straw. And now I want to put a bit of vintage photo on. I don't tend to change my brushes. I don't know if other people do that, but I don't tend to. And then, yeah, so I'm just going to work that in and blend it together. And as you can see, it creates quite a nice mottled, vintagey, almost like brown paper look, which is what I'm going for. And I did that very similarly, I think, with the cat picture that I think I've shown you already. And then I've used a stencil for that one, but I don't think I'm going to use a stencil today. And the paper does hold this very nicely. The paper in these books is beautiful. You can get away with quite a lot on Rita Berman pages, I found. You can use water. I've used water in my page that I'm currently doing my body colour in. Using Neocolor too, so I found that it holds that quite well. So, yeah, I do like the paper in these books. It does hold up better than, you know, a lot of the Amazon paper is notoriously bad, as we all know. And I haven't masked off my picture. Some people do mask things off when they're using ink. I'm just very careful. I kind of know how I want it. If you're going right up close to the image, then yeah, I'd probably use masking fluid or something like that, but I'm not interested in doing that. So it's all about not using too much ink for me and building up the colour, because I found if I'm too heavy-handed, that's exactly the look I wanted. Okay, so that is that. Then I think I'm not going to show you. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use one of my Pentel Dual Hybrids to probably this one, which is an orange and metallic yellow, to go around these little beads on the inside. I'll just show you. I'm going to just go like that all the way around. I'll do that off camera and I'll come back. Okay. So I'm going to zoom you in. I've put that all the way around there. I've also put a little bit on here. And then I am just going to use a gold metallic. I haven't got much left in this one. To just go in these bits. Here. And then there's a bit here as well. So I think that's all the kind of metallic-y bits done. Now I am going to get out a metallic paint and work out what I'm going to put in there. Be back. And so I've decided to use this beautiful Venus colour, which is from the Earth set by KD, designed by Karen. Sparkly watercolour. I've just put some water on it now. So I've got some of these really small brushes. I don't know if you can quite see that. Which I'm going to use to apply. So I can't remember where I was. So these watercolours are they're just amazing. Our pigment is just gorgeous. So I was going to go for an iridescent watercolour, but I've decided to go with this one instead. Don't know why. Just, I think with the background that I went with the distress ink, I just thought it would look nice. And I am going to put some stickles on these little circles, which may look a little bit like bubbles. Well, I might do those blue, or like a iridescent-y one. So yeah, so as you can see, the paper's holding up pretty well. It might, you know, buckle a little bit, but it won't be too bad. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you go over the circles, because if we're going to be using stickles anyway, it won't matter too much. I probably won't go over the bigger circles there. I don't get my watercolours out nearly enough, and I really enjoy using them. It just seems like they're kind of tucked away in this little box, but they are amazing. Look how sparkly that is. Sorry about all the road noise. Seem to have a lot of lorries passing by. We've got a tyre yard behind our house, which is also making quite a lot of noise. This is much more colourful than I was anticipating it turning out being. But you know me, I don't tend to do limited colour palettes, and this hasn't really turned into a limited. Well, it has, I suppose, a little bit. It is all yellow, blues, greens and yellows with added bits of some gold. So technically, I'm probably going to have to go in with another layer, I think, of the watercolour. It sometimes looks a bit patchy. And that's because I'm not using, you know, obviously I'm not using watercolour paper. So it doesn't spread out or etc. as it would on normal watercolour paper, I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to need to do another layer just to make sure it's not too patchy. But I think that will frame the doll quite nicely. Oh, definitely gone over that a bit too much. So it depends, yeah, it depends how much water I put on this watercolour as to how blotchy it looks. I'm still getting used to them, as you can tell. I'm not very good at using them. But I really like the KJ design by Karen Watercolour. Right then, I'm just gonna go over this bit over here a little bit more. Like so. You could use, I suppose, chalk pastels for the background here as well. You could use Posca to fill it in. You know, any kind of acrylic paint as well. You don't have to use watercolour. Don't even have to do a background if you don't want to. I think that's tied in really, really nicely. Oh, I've missed a bit of beading up there. I think that's tied in really nicely to the background though, and tied it all together. Right, so I need to leave this to dry now. And then the final part, which I think will be quite short, will just be adding in the stickles. So that's it for part 3, people. I hope you've enjoyed that, seeing different things. I I've enjoyed doing that myself. I will see you all again soon. Okay, bye bye.